My grandmother, Eleanor, was the only person in my family who ever truly loved me. She passed away 6 months ago, leaving me $85,000 and a sealed letter I still have not opened. I thought her gift was simply her way of saying goodbye. But I was wrong. That money revealed something I never wanted to see. It exposed the true faces of people I called family. My brother Derek called me on a Thursday evening. His voice was unusually sweet. I should have recognized the warning sign. Before we dive into this story, let me know where you are watching from in the comments below. If stories about family betrayal and standing up for yourself resonate with you, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Trust me, you will want to stay until the end to see what happens when money exposes the truth about the people closest to you. Growing up in a suburb outside Dallas, Texas, I always knew my place in the family hierarchy. Derek was 4 years older than me, and from the moment I could understand anything, I understood one thing. Clearly, he was the favorite. When Derek turned 16, our parents bought him a brand new truck. When I turned 16, I got a job at a grocery store stacking shelves. Derek's college tuition was paid in full by our parents. I took out student loans that took me years to pay off. When Derek graduated and needed help with a down payment on his first apartment, our father wrote him a check without hesitation. When I graduated with honors summa cum laude, neither of my parents showed up to the ceremony. Derek had a work presentation that day, and apparently that was more important than watching their younger son walk across the stage. I remember standing alone in that sea of graduates, everyone around me hugging their families, posing for photos, crying happy tears. I had no one to take my picture. No one to tell me they were proud. I walked back to my dorm room that night and sat in the dark, wondering what I had done wrong to deserve being invisible. The only person who ever made me feel seen was my grandmother, Eleanor. She lived in Fredericksburg, a small town in the Texas Hill Country about an hour and a half from Austin. Every summer when I was young, my parents would send me to stay with her. Looking back now, I realize they probably just wanted me out of the way so they could focus on Derek. But those summers became the happiest memories of my childhood. Grandma Eleanor taught me how to cook her famous chicken and dumplings. She taught me how to tend her vegetable garden, how to tell when tomatoes were perfectly ripe, how to pull weeds without disturbing the roots of the plants you wanted to keep. She would sit with me on her porch swing in the evenings, telling me stories about my grandfather who passed away before I was born. She said I had his eyes and his stubborn streak. She used to hold my hands and say, "Ricky, you have a good heart. Do not ever let anyone take that away from you." Grandma knew about the favoritism. She saw it clearly, even when no one else would acknowledge it. She tried talking to my mother about it once. I overheard them arguing in the kitchen when I was about 12. My mother dismissed her concerns completely, saying she loved both her sons equally, but actions speak louder than words, and her actions told a very different story. Grandma could not change my parents. She knew that. So instead, she chose to love me extra hard to make up for what I was not getting at home. She kept every drawing I ever made for her in an old tin box decorated with faded roses. She displayed my school photos on her mantle, right next to the ones of Derek. In her house, I was not second place. I was just as important as anyone else. 6 months ago, Grandma Eleanor passed away from heart failure. She was 82 years old. In her final weeks, I drove to Fredericksburg every weekend to be with her. I held her hand. I read to her from her favorite books. I told her I loved her more times than I could count. Derek showed up to her funeral in an expensive suit, stayed for exactly 2 hours, and left because he claimed he had an important meeting he could not miss. My parents spent most of the service discussing what to do with Grandma's house. They were already calculating its market value before she was even in the ground. When the lawyer read her will, everyone expected her modest estate to be divided among the family. Instead, she left everything to me. $85,000, and all her personal belongings. The lawyer also handed me a sealed envelope with my name written in her handwriting. Grandma had written me a letter before she died. I could not open it. Not yet. The wound was too fresh, and I was afraid of what her final words might do to me. So I tucked the letter away, promising myself I would read it when I was ready. My parents and Derek were furious about the will, but they did not say anything at the reading. They just exchanged looks, their jaws tight, their eyes cold. I knew the storm was coming. I just did not know when it would hit. It came on a Thursday evening, 6 months after the funeral. My phone rang and Derek's name appeared on the screen. "Hey, little brother," he said, his voice dripping with a sweetness I had never heard before. "How have you been? It feels like forever since we talked." I should have known right then. Derek never called just to check on me. In 30 years, he had never once called simply because he cared. "I am fine," I said cautiously. "What is going on?" He made small talk for a few minutes. Asked about my job, my apartment, whether I was seeing anyone. It felt forced, like he was reading from a script. Then he finally got to the point. "Listen, you know Megan and I are getting married next month, right? We are planning this incredible wedding at a resort in Galveston, right on the beach. It is going to be amazing." "That sounds nice," I said, still waiting for the other shoe to drop. "The thing is," Derek continued, his tone shifting slightly, "weddings are expensive. Way more expensive than we anticipated, and we are a little short on funds." My stomach tightened. I knew where this was going. "I was thinking, he said that money Grandma left you. You are not really using it for anything right now, are you? What if you let me borrow some of it? Just until we get back on our feet. I will pay you back, I promise." "How much do you need?" I asked, my voice flat. 70,000. I almost dropped the phone. $70,000. That was almost everything Grandma had left me. "Derek, that is almost my entire inheritance." I know, he said quickly. "But this is my wedding, Ricky. This is the biggest day of my life. You are my brother. You have to help me out here." I sat in stunned silence, trying to process what he was asking. He wanted me to hand over nearly everything my grandmother had left me so he could throw an extravagant beach wedding. "Grandma loved both of us," Derek added, sensing my hesitation. "If she were still alive, she would want you to help me. She would want us to support each other." That was a lie, and we both knew it. Grandma Eleanor saw right through Derek. She knew exactly who he was. "I need some time to think about it," I finally said. Derek's voice cooled immediately. "Do not take too long. The venue needs the deposit by the end of the month." He hung up without saying goodbye. The next morning my mother called. "Ricky, honey," she began, her voice carrying that practiced sweetness she used when she wanted something. "Derek told me you two talked last night. I just wanted to check in and see how you are feeling about everything." "I'm still thinking about it," I said. "I understand," she said, though her tone suggested she did not understand at all. "But you have to see things from Derek's perspective. This is his wedding. It is a once-in-a-lifetime event. And that money, well, it is not like you need it right now, is it? You are not married. You do not have children. What exactly are you planning to do with it?" I felt my jaw tighten. I was thinking about using it as a down payment on a house someday. Or investing it. Grandma wanted me to have a stable future. My mother sighed heavily as if I was being unreasonable. "Ricky, you always were a little selfish. Even as a child. You never thought about anyone but yourself." "That is not fair," I said, my voice rising despite my effort to stay calm. "Grandma Eleanor would be so disappointed in you right now," she continued, ignoring my protest. "She loved both you and Derek. She would want you to share. She would want you to be a good brother." The manipulation was so blatant, it almost took my breath away. She was using my dead grandmother, the woman who had loved me more than anyone, as a weapon against me. "I need more time," I said, and ended the call. That evening my father called. Harold was a man of few words, but when he spoke he expected to be obeyed. "Ricky, I heard you are giving your brother a hard time about the wedding money." "I am not giving him a hard time. I am just thinking about it." "There is nothing to think about," he said flatly. "Family helps family. That is how it works. Derek needs the money. You have it. End of story. But Grandma left it to me specifically. She had a reason for that." "Your grandmother was old and sentimental," he said dismissively. "She did not know what she was doing. That money should have been divided among all of us. The fact that you are hoarding it is embarrassing." "I am not hoarding anything. It is my inheritance. I am disappointed in you, Ricky. Very disappointed." He hung up. 2 days later, Megan called. Derek's fiancée had never particularly liked me. She found me boring, I think. Too quiet, too unambitious, too unlike her flashy, successful future husband. "Ricky, let us cut to the chase," she said, not bothering with pleasantries. "I do not understand why you are making this so difficult. Derek and I have been planning this wedding for over a year, Everything is booked. Everything is perfect. And now you are threatening to ruin it because you want to keep money you do not even need. It is not about need, I tried to explain. It is about what my grandmother wanted. Megan laughed a short mocking sound. What she wanted, Ricky, she was 82 years old with a failing heart. She probably was not thinking clearly. The fair thing to do would have been to split that money with the whole family, but since she did not, you should do the right thing and share it yourself. The right thing, I repeated. Yes, the right thing. You know, for someone who does not have a girlfriend, does not own property, and barely does anything exciting with his life, you sure are attached to money. You will probably just let sit in a savings account. I could feel my blood pressure rising. Megan, this conversation is over. Fine, she snapped. But just so you know, if you do not help us, people will remember. The family will remember. And do not expect an invitation to the wedding. She hung up. Over the next week, my phone blew up with calls and texts from relatives I barely spoke to. My Aunt Diane, my mother's sister, left a voicemail saying she was ashamed to be related to someone so greedy. Cousins I had not seen in years suddenly had opinions about my character. One by one, family members started unfriending me on social media. I was removed from the family group chat without any explanation. My mother had launched a full campaign against me. She told everyone her version of the story, that I was selfishly hoarding money that should belong to the family, that I was disrespecting my grandmother's memory, that I was tearing the family apart over greed. Nobody asked for my side. Nobody wanted to hear the truth. At work, my friend Marcus noticed something was wrong. We had been colleagues for 3 years, and had become close friends. He found me sitting alone in the break room one afternoon, staring at my phone with a hollow expression. "You look like someone ran over your dog," he said, sitting down across from me. "What is going on?" I told him everything. About Derek, about the money, about the pressure campaign my family was waging against me. Marcus listened without interrupting. When I finished, he shook his head slowly. "Ricky, those people are not your family. They are vultures.